welcome to The Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia.
I'm always bad with the introductions. Like I can say that part, and then it's like...
Do you want to reset it?
Feels like a cheap, or like a generic, today we're going to talk about. No, we don't have to reset it. I don't care.
It's funny.
I'm just saying I have a hard time with the introduction on it. I guess today we're going to talk about all things pertaining to resolve.
Yeah.
No compromise. And being all in.
What does it mean to have a heart of resolve?
Right. Well said.
I think there's so many practical things that you can do that sometimes it's hard. Like, I know that I have had conversations with people where they're like, I don't understand what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what it means to go all in.
Yeah.
And there gets to be like this, and especially if you have a lot of insecurity and a lot of self-doubt, you think, like, you start to question yourself. Like, am I really all in? Or
yeah.
like it becomes this like spin for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said it the other day, and I thought it was so great. I hope you can restate what you said resolve was.
Probably not, unless I wrote it down.
I don't know. You might wrote it down. It was something to the effect of like, you just make up your mind.
Okay.
Like, to have a resolve is you just make up your mind that I'm going to do this thing.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And if it's yucky, it doesn't matter. I'm still just going to do it. And I heard somebody give this analogy, and I thought it was brilliant. The analogy was like moving into a house, right? Mm-hmm. If you were moving from one house to another, the way that you go all in is you pack all of your things. Mm-hmm. You have to pack everything. Some things you actually need to get rid of.
Right.
Some things have been sitting in the house for too long, and you'll need to discard them.
Right.
There's other things that will go with you, but it will be in a new setting, mm-hmm. meaning it will have it's repurposed, if you will. So I think, especially when you go all in with the Lord, you're packing up everything.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like what belongs, what doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to realize.
You have to look at everything.
Yes, mm-hmm. You need to go through everything.
Right.
And to go all in is to be, I will pack up everything, mm-hmm. because I am moving to a new place.
Yeah.
I am moving into a new perspective.
Mm-hmm. And
with that, sometimes packing becomes a drudgery, right?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it's hard to move.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to kind of go through things.
Mm-hmm.
But to be all in is like, it doesn't matter how hard it's going to be. I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah, you made the decision.
I made the decision, and so I will continue mm-hmm. with whatever comes up because of that decision.
Yeah.
And so I loved that analogy,
that's cool.
The picture of it, that even if you are having to bring things from,
yeah,
your old house into your new house,
yeah,
it won't be in the same location. It won't be in the same way,
right, that
it was in the old house.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new place for it. And so I think that's a good way to look at having resolve is like, the old things can't go with me.
Yeah.
The things that no longer serve me or won't have purpose in this new place.
Yeah.
And I will let go of those.
Yeah.
And resolve is moving forward.
Right. Yeah.
And just going through all of it.
Definitely. Another thing that I think is resolve is inviting the Lord into every sphere of your life. Like being all in and inviting Him, opening all your doors to Him.
Yeah.
To fill it too. So it's like, let go of what doesn't belong, but then also let Him fill what you have, what's there. Mm-hmm. Now that's been a interesting one for me in areas that you wouldn't think that he can apply Himself to it, or he can be there with you. He can, and so like I've been asking Him, like this is a little trail, but it kind of goes into it. Apparently, the Holy Spirit is the comforter. Mm-hmm. And the original meaning of that, comforter, is like advocate or companion. And so it's just like He's right next to you and with you, and he fights for you. He's with you and for you all the time, constantly. But I felt like with my job, I felt like there was some things I didn't know what it was. I felt like there were some leaks in the ship, Mm-hmm. And it's nothing I've neglected purposefully, but I'm just like, I feel like something's slipping through my fingers. Mm. And I've kind of had that feeling for a little while. And I gave it to him. What Daniel said a couple weeks ago, like, cast your cares upon him. Like, he's there for that, you know? And so I took that and I said, okay, I'm going to take your word and I'm going to give you this stuff. I'm going to cast this on you because it's bothering me a little bit. So I just prayed. I was like, I give you this stuff, whatever these leaking ships is, either if it's real, show me. And if it's not, then just snuff that out and give me closure on it. And that very day, I got to work, logged into my email, and there it was, this thing, and it just clicked. I was like, that's what it is, and it was resolved. And it was so in my face, like, wow. And now I have complete peace and closure about it.
That's so good.
But that led me to, even to like his word and the things that he says. Like, they're not just mantras that we recite in moments of discomfort, you know? It's like these things, these promises in his word, you can apply it to your life. And when stuff does come up, like, if we're all in and we are faithful with what he gives us, we're built for those moments. Like, we shine in those moments, and we're not sideswiped by anything. We're just like solid in it, and people can see that.
Yeah.
You know? But being all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And almost like when you are all in and you have a resolve to know him, I don't think it's necessarily a resolve to be a Christian.
Right.
To do the duties, it's to know him.
Yeah.
Like, to have a resolve is to know that he is your companion, to know that he's your best friend, to know his attributes, to know his ways. And I think that's what creates you to be solid.
Yeah.
Is because you know.
You know him.
Yeah, you know him. And all wisdom, any wisdom that you could ever think of that you need is found in him. Any counseling that you might need is found in him. Like, even if there's like practical things that you're like, I don't even know how to break out of this. Like a mentality, right? Say that there's something that keeps coming up over and over and over. It's a fallen misconception that you have held on to. It's like, even in that, you don't even have to figure out how to move forward. Yeah. You give him that. Yeah. And then if there is something that you have to do to move forward, he'll tell you. Right. But other than that, you don't worry about it. Yeah. You surrender it.
Surrender it, yeah.
You surrender it. And if that's surrendering it 1,000 times a day, it's being faithful with that. Yeah. Of like not taking something in your own strength, taking something in your own flesh. Yeah. And just being present in the day to deal with those things. Yeah. You know, I think often to have a resolve, for me, especially coming out of a religious system, is my resolve was to do it in my own strength, to prove something. Like, I'll have a resolve and I will continue with this because my mind is made up. Yeah. But a lot of it is done in your own strength. A lot of it is like, I will try and work this out instead of surrendering. Yeah. Like, it's with him, it's a totally different game. It is. It's a surrender. Yeah. It's a let it go. Then you can do things. Yeah. Then you will be strong. Then you will yield the very things that he's put within you with ease. Yeah. You know, and then it becomes very simple. Yeah. And it becomes very different when you don't try to force a thing. Yeah. I kind of think of it, this is going to be gruesome, but
let's go.
Or I guess it's like when you're trying to poop, right? If you force it, it hurts. Right. But if you relax and let go, it's different. Yeah. I think I only say that because Bexley gets constipated, right? And as a 2-year-old, you don't know.
It's not a pleasant thing, yeah.
It's not. It's not pleasant, but she doesn't know how to navigate it. Right. And so I actually get to walk through her like, hey, relax. It's okay. You can relax. Mommy's got you. You're safe. Like, that's how I talk to her when she is in the midst of trying to poop. Right. And you can tell she relaxes. Yeah. She actually can let go and it becomes much more pleasant. Yeah. And it's like, that's what the Lord does with us. He's the companion that's like, hey, relax. It's okay. Right. Like, yeah. You've made up your mind to follow me. Now just relax.
Yeah. Just listen to me, yeah.
Just listen to me. The only thing that we're even responsible for in this life is listening to him.
Yeah, right.
I mean, truly, at the root of everything, it's just listen.
Yeah.
Listen and do it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is to have resolve. Like, it's bringing him in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And not letting yourself be sideswiped or distracted or run back to old ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like making up in your mind, like, I'm not going to go there anymore.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, right.
And
a
if
lot
you
of that
do,
stuff is, yeah.
But just if you do, you invite him.
Right. Yeah, you
There's
just be transparent and open with him. Just honesty. He already knows it anyways. Just talk about it.
Vulnerability and transparency are key in this life.
Yeah, right. It's power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even if you're like, I don't even know what it means to go all in, ask him that.
Yeah, just give it to him. Yeah. Then you're going all in with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the surrender aspect.
Right. Yep.
Which I think, okay. So there was another thing I wanted to talk about of like pivoting gears a little bit, but what it means to have a resolve for the kingdom.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes we fight battles that are not ours to fight.
Yeah.
And we entangle ourselves in things that we were never meant to be entangled with.
Oh, yeah.
And
yep.
I think one of those things is a political war.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
No, it absolutely is.
I'd had a dream about engaging in this political war. And I kept saying, I don't want to be in this war. I said it over and over and over and over. I don't want to be in this war, but I still partook of it.
Yeah.
And I actually had to surrender my weapons. And I felt very vulnerable when I was surrendering them. But I was like, I'm done. Like, I really don't want to be a part of this war.
Right.
And that was in the dream. And then in the dream, it shifted. And I was in this cathedral in this big, huge, beautiful open area that I got to sit with the king. And the king began to talk to me about how connection is the most important thing above all else.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hit on this aspect of a resolve because I think a resolve is connection is key.
Yeah.
Like there's connection above all things. And I think in a practical sense, if you take the bait of this political war, you begin to pin yourself against other people.
Right.
And I have seen so much divisive language. I've seen so much, like, even if you hold an opinion, which I think opinions are worthless.
Right.
But even if you hold an opinion, it should never be at the expense of standing against your brother.
All right.
It should never be a me versus you. Like, that's like counseling 101, I feel like, that they teach you when you're with a partner or you're with somebody. It's me and you versus the problem, not me versus you.
Right.
But there's been so much of that I feel like it has caused people's, like, it's like a warped perspective.
It's a warped perspective. It's a trap.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a trap. I had a dream. You said you had a dream. I had a dream once about it.
Oh, yeah?
Political. Yeah. There were these two mascots, animals, fighting on a football field. And people were cheering for their mascot. And they were sitting there beating the crap out of each other. And I was like in the distance in this facility or whatever. And it was the political realm. And it's that same thing. It pits people against one another.
And it causes you to carry judgment.
Yes.
You carry judgment about another person.
It causes you to demonize other people.
100%.
Yeah. And there's so much hatred in it. I mean, you can see it.
Yeah.
And so whenever things come up, it's like, seek the Lord. Just seek the Lord in it. Don't get consumed with this thing that's been intermingled with him. People have tied his name to certain sides,
100%.
It's like, don't fall for that. Because when the stuff comes up, what it's doing is forcing you into one of two places, and either side, it's divisive against other people.
It is.
It's trash.
And even if you hold a belief, right?
Right.
So, like, I wholeheartedly believe Jeremiah 1:5, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think that any political, non-political, whatever, I choose to see things through a biblical lens, period.
Yeah.
Like, because this thing is my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want another perspective, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a waste of time to pursue another perspective.
Yeah. But Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you.
Yeah.
Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you as a prophet to the nations. And I know he was talking to Jeremiah there.
Yeah.
But I think that's a principle for life.
Yeah.
I believe that God is 100% for life and that there is absolutely no death in it.
Yeah.
That's the Proverbs 12:28.
Right.
In its pathway, there's no death.
Right.
So it's clear
we're his imagers on the earth too.
Yes.
He wants us here, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And there's destiny that
Yeah.
the enemy has sought to take destiny away from people.
Right.
But I will never, just because I believe that.
Yeah.
Which I believe actually God does too. And I think the angels are actually with life.
Yeah.
And life abundant.
Yeah.
So John 10:10. But if somebody chooses to have another perspective than mine, I will not go at them for their perspective.
Right.
I will choose to love them.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most time people are trying to fight about stuff. It's not even about that.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Right.
probably more times than not a place of insecurity that you already in your life don't feel heard.
Yeah.
And this is an area that if you scream loud enough, you'll finally feel heard.
Yeah. It feels noble.
Yeah.
It feels like purpose, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like you're fighting for something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the right thing, you know?
Yeah. I think it's more about being his imager on the earth, like you said.
Yeah.
It's more about arising and shining. And if in relationship you want to have those conversations, I think have those conversations.
Yeah.
But it should be done in relationship. It's connection.
Right.
Even like, for me, the political thing has become Facebook quotes or Instagram reshares. And it's like, that's how I'm going to defend my perspective.
Yeah.
And it robs connection.
Right.
It robs relationship of being able to talk through things and being able to, because we influence each other.
Yeah.
Everybody influences each other.
Right.
And part of the body of being in the light is that we can equip each other to be more of the light.
Right.
You know? And that's not saying everybody's got to agree with every single perspective.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it can easily turn into the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
yes.
And you get trapped in it. It's a cycle.
That's what I feel like the war is.
Yeah, exactly.
The war was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Is this good or is this bad?
Right.
Instead of like, where's the Lord in this?
Yeah.
Choose life.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's they've been on these rants of like, well, don't throw your Christian beliefs at me or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I think as imagers, we can just stand firm.
Yeah, you just be.
Yeah, we don't have to. You don't have to defend yourself.
No, you don't.
That's the thing. And
Yeah, I've been seeing that stuff all over Facebook lately. And there are times where it's like, it's tempting. It's like you want to step in and even make a comment or something, you know, every now and then. But it's like, no, not our field.
Yeah.
This is not our game.
Not our war.
It's not at all. But
I mean, think of all the things that were going down, the corruption going down around Jesus' time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How much of that did he address?
How much of that did he partake in? Yeah.
The only thing he did
Yeah.
was go after the Pharisees to love them.
Yeah. And that's when they came after him.
He would call out the very things that they were doing.
Mm-hmm. You know what's beautiful about what he was doing in that time? He was going after individual people that didn't matter, you know, that nobody would, you know, look at. You know? He wasn't focused on the political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was focused on the guy that's on his mat over here, you know, or the person with the withered hand, or you know, and telling them not to say anything. It's like he wasn't about the, you know, stuff of that day.
Yeah.
That's what's freaking beautiful about him.
Because he knew that his way was higher.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that what he was going to do was so much greater than trying to pick a political fight.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's the perspective that we can get into is like, yo, we're actually going after something much bigger.
Yeah.
By being imagers of the light, we're actually pulling down powers and principalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not by us screaming at each other.
Yeah. Or feeding those monsters that are fighting each other.
Yeah. I mean, we don't wrestle
Buying
against
into it.
flesh and blood.
Right.
Right. So we're not against people.
It's never the people.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
And we have the ability, I think more things are done, more power is swung in private than it is ever done in public.
Right. Yeah. It's also like David.
Yeah.
You know, as a shepherd by himself, taking out the lions and the bears and stuff that he did in the secret.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's a way, and we underestimate the power of prayer.
Yeah.
When it comes to agreeing with what God is saying.
Yeah.
Like prayer is not just, I mean, I know we've talked about it, but prayer is not just you throw up the list and be like, God, I really hope you bless this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, what do you see?
Mm-hmm.
What's your perspective that I can agree with? And this is going to shift everything for people.
Yeah.
It's like, why not step into that and freaking let your rocks fly?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
David and his little sling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's badass.
I mean, it's funny that everybody makes David to be like this little shrimp guy.
Yeah.
When he was like a full-blown soldier.
Yeah, I know it. Like he was a little kid or something.
Yeah. Oh, Saul's stuff doesn't fit me. He's like, nah, man, I hadn't been using that. Why am I going to take somebody else's armor?
Yeah. He's like, it's not my game.
Why am I going to play somebody else's game?
Uh-huh. You know what's really cool?
That. Yeah.
And I'd have to look up the specifics of it, but when I realized it, it was like really cool. The rocks, when he picked up the stones, I think he picked up like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, he picked up 5.
Okay, 5. One of them was for Goliath.
And
the other 4 for his brothers.
Yeah.
That was badass. I love that.
Because he knew the direct thing that he was going after.
Oh, yeah. And he only needed 1.
Yeah.
He only needed 1 each, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, this one's his, this one's his.
Think about the confidence that he had of knowing, like, hey, when I shoot my shot, I'm going to shoot my shot.
Yeah.
Think about that level of confidence.
Yeah.
Instead of just like spraying your gun at everybody, just.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what social media has become. We just spray everybody that's our followers.
Spray and pray, is that what they call it?
God, something like
that. You
that.
hit somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the level of confidence that dude carried.
Yeah. It's direct.
One rock.
Right.
One
Solid.
hit. Yeah.
Solid.
It's so profound, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So profound about the confidence and power that we actually carry into every space.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yep. I was thinking about that. It's about just stability. Like, and I think I said this at group one night. Like, it feels like the safest place in the city when we're all together.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people are supposed to feel that way when we're around anywhere. Of like when they're with, someone who is connected, who's been with the Lord, and then connect them to the Lord. It's like you're in the safest place you could ever be. Stability.
Yeah.
But like family and home, it feels like that.
Yeah.
But that's not what the political stuff feels like.
Well, it almost makes me think of like if you take the bait of the political game.
Yeah.
Without realizing it, because I think a lot of well-intentioned people just...
Noble intentions.
Everybody just takes the bait.
Yeah.
But you actually... What you think is you're taking a stand, you're actually saying, hey, I'm not safe.
Yeah.
Hey, right. I'm not actually a safe person to...
Not stable.
To trust to trust myself to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think when you actually speak about the Lord and what the Lord values, even if you disagree on quote unquote your opinion,
right, it
will still feel safe.
Yeah.
It may feel uncomfortable, but at the core of it, you'll be like, yo, that actually feels good. Yeah. That actually feels right.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it causes people to project things that are not really them.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Yeah. And it never, this is just what I was thinking about. I never think about politics unless something flares up. And I'm like, this is just kind of annoying. Like, I want people to stop and just be and wake up a little bit and get out of it, snap out of it,
Mm-hmm.
People have been doing this. I know since I've been growing up, my God, all I ever heard was things are getting worse. Who's the president going to be? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like everything rides on this moment. And it's been that way for hundreds of years. And it's like, what's the fruit of this? We're just all going to throw rocks at each other forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then one side wins, the other side wins, back and forth, back and forth. Jesus, that's a lot of energy to waste.
Yeah.
On something that's not even ours to, it's not ours to be in. Oh, well, might as well. Even the election. Trump's God's man.
Yeah.
What that does, and I'm not I'm not a political person. I'm just saying all these prophecies of like he's going to win the second election and he's God's man in the office. You're relinquishing power and you're placing it far away somewhere else. It's like, no, we are all.
You just created a middleman.
Right. Yeah, which we don't need. We're all God's man on the street, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when you put it out there, you're relieving yourself of any accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting it on somewhere else. And it's like you're extremely powerful and you can impact the world.
Yeah.
As much, if not more, where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Be like Jesus, hit that guy on the street. You don't know what that's going to turn into. That could domino effect into
like the demon possessed man, dude.
Yes.
Like with Decapolis, he freaking
yeah.
What was that dude's name? We had all the demons.
Oh yeah.
And he was naked.
I can't remember.
Legion.
Yeah, Legion was the demon. Yeah.
Yeah, he was full blown cutting himself.
Yeah.
I think he was demonically possessed because he prevented a way into the city. He actually was a roadblock. But the Lord set him free. Yeah. He was a roadblock of connection. And the Lord set that thing free, drove them into the pigs.
Yeah.
He goes and he hits up 10 cities.
Yeah, and he wanted to go with them. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just took one man.
Right.
It unlocked 10 cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you never know the one person you could hit.
Right. And don't cheapen our purpose on like put it on somebody else or something, you know?
I was listening to somebody the other day and they were talking about how, to me, the political arena is the religious system.
Yeah.
They actually take on very similar forms, just two different areas.
Well, look at like King Saul. Like they wanted a king. They didn't want God.
Yeah.
They wanted one man.
They wanted a middleman.
They wanted a middleman, you know?
Well, even with Moses.
Yeah, right.
They were like, you talk to him for us.
You do it.
Yeah, your face is glowing. That makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Cover your face.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. That's the same thing.
Yeah. But they're looking, it's like a savior complex.
Uh-huh.
They want somebody else to fix them.
Yeah.
Instead of actually turning to the Lord.
Yeah. Right. Which is the best thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant plan of the enemy to try and get people spinning like that.
Yeah, it is.
But when you can take a step back and realize that the political system is the religious system, they're all very the same.
Yeah. Right. Been around forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they try and bait people. They bait people and try and get them on the tree of the knowledge or the tree of evil. And
one or the other.
Yeah. Which side are you going to be on?
Yeah. It's like you have to pick one. It's like it's strange.
That's funny that you told me about that dream because I had a very similar one. There was 2 animals that were wrestling in the water.
Yeah.
And people were pinned, or there were 2 separate sides.
Yeah.
One side was wearing masks and the other ones were not wearing masks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there was judgment towards those not wearing masks. And the ones wearing masks had judgment towards those not wearing masks.
Of course.
And I saw it for what it was. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
There is so much judgment.
Yeah.
Subconscious, I think.
Yeah.
Towards people.
Right.
Like, how dare you wear a mask around me?
Yeah.
It's like, who freaking cares?
I know it.
Also, who cares what you do?
All right.
If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, the election thing. I still every now and then I'm kind of petty a little bit in some areas. I'll go watch some funny, Christian videos.
Yeah.
Just some silly stuff. Just because it's kind of fun. I don't know. But that I watched one the other day that it went back to the election thing and it had all the prophecies of like he's going to win a second term. The fact that all these self-proclaimed prophets, and some of them are, they're good
They're
people.
actually legit too.
They're legit, but there's that intermingled like with the political stuff, and it's like you're hearing that as opposed to God. You've put God on that, It's just part of the danger of it. It's like, no, it's a lot more simple. It's a lot more simple than that.
I think it's getting back to the simplicity of devotion to Jesus.
It is. That's what it is.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And I know like there's a scripture that says like pray for, what is it? Something along the lines of like pray for those in authority.
Authority, yeah, right.
That you may live a peaceable life. And I think that's in Romans. I want to say it's Romans 12, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, which I can get that. But I think that's not like pray for only those that are on your side.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it says
if they're not, pray for them. Yeah, equally.
Yeah. Look at that. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God.
Absolutely.
And the authorities that exist are appointed by God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
toss that one around.
Well, with the whole election thing, everybody's like, well, it was robbed. It was stolen. It was, so I can't,
Denial, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you can believe all those conspiracies, or you can actually just accept what the Bible says, that the authorities exist, are appointed by God.
Yeah. Pray for the one that's in there.
And I will pray for the one that's in there. I will pray for the one that...
what if we all collectively did that? What if we prayed for the one that we didn't want in there? What if we prayed for them?
That they would actually encounter.
What if something happened out of that? What if something happened out of that and that changed things, as opposed to trashing the person, hating the person?
Yeah. It's crazy, though.
It is.
I just think it would be like... I think it would change a lot if people would surrender.
Yeah. It would be a relief. It would be, it would change. It would change a lot.
I think it would change literally our state.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I really honored and appreciated about the ruling, right? Because I think you can extract good from absolutely everything.
Yeah, you can.
But I'm not going to lie, I was excited that it overturned.
Yeah.
I was very happy, and I was like, this feels good.
Yeah.
Because the ruling overturned it and put the power back in the state's hands.
Yeah.
And I instantly, the whole point of like power being back to the states is for the people.
Yeah.
That was how our whole government was orchestrated.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my gosh, we have influence now.
Yeah.
Meaning we can actually come up with creative solutions and release it into our state.
Yeah.
And so I started to pray that all of the states would begin to have creative solutions that have never been thought of to help facilitate people in a way that they've never been able to feel like they had support or being able to be facilitated.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, we actually have, it should be exciting that we now get to flex some creativity into these places that have been locked down because of a federal ruling.
Right.
Like, to me, it like fired me up that we as a people could actually tap into the creative mind of God to provide resources to actually, like, if you see something that is lacking, it's that
opportunity,
thing. It's opportunity for you to bring something into that.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you want to see on the earth, you can bring it.
Yeah.
You can actually cultivate that.
Yeah.
And if that's something you're not drawn into, but you have an opinion about it, you should probably let go of your opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's not actually serving you.
Even that opportunity, when it arises, if you've been connected to God, to the source of it, like, that's our time to shine. That's when we show up, because we react the way he does because we've been with him. Because when anything like that comes up, opportunity, anything.
Yeah, because it comes from a place of response, not a place of react.
Right, right.
And it's like, I saw how my dad would respond in this, so I can respond to this situation like this.
Right.
And then you have the power. That's where literal power starts to move.
Yeah.
And that's where cities change.
Yeah.
That's where things shift.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's beautiful.
It is.
The opportunities that we all carry, the creative mind of God that we can join ourselves to.
Yeah.
To release new solutions.
Yeah. Right.
New solutions to things that, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Again, because I believe in having a relationship with people, not arguing on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I was gentle in how I said this, but I said, this is the fundamental difference between you and I.
Yeah.
My foundation is to let people behold the Lord And I want people to behold the Lord because that's where things change.
Yeah.
And you are trying to address a problem by trying to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And that will never happen.
Right.
You're trying to fix a broken system in the same like manner.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where the fundamental things are different.
Yeah.
You can talk about trying to do,
Yeah.
whatever education you want to in any sphere that you want to. But if people are not beholding the Lord, nothing changes.
Right. Yeah. Was that kind of in there a scripture about like casting out Satan with Satan?
Yeah. Jesus said that.
Yeah.
When they called him
Beelzebub. Beelzebub. Yeah.
It's like,
which is like the Lord of Flies, I think is what that means. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the Lord of Flies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like a house divided can't stand.
Right.
And if even you're divided in your person.
Yeah.
Which is being not all in with the Lord.
Yeah.
And not giving him space to speak into those spaces.
Right.
You will feel unsettled.
Yeah.
You will feel wrestled.
Well, that political unease, like if you feel that, that's a clear opportunity of like, I'll surrender that to the Lord.
Yeah.
If you have any of that feeling, because I know that's such a thing right now.
Yeah.
But it's like that's an opportunity there. That's something you can turn over to him and have peace in that area.
And see what he has to say about it.
Yeah.
Most of the places it comes down is our identity.
Yeah.
And it's how we view ourselves that then we try and project that into different spheres.
Right.
If you're not settled in your own person,
yeah,
your filter will be off and you will just be projecting the very thing you think about yourself. You'll project it to other people.
Yeah.
And you can call it political opinion or you can call it whatever you want.
Right.
But it's pain bleeding out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And maybe that's black and white, but
yeah,
I think there's more undealt with pain. And I think the Lord really desires that for people.
Yeah.
To lean into the pain that they have felt.
Well, that's one of those boxes you got to pack, that you got to look at.
Yeah. It's important. It's important to look at your house.
Right.
And get it in order.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I grew up in the political, one side of the political sphere, one of those animals that fights. Anyway, so I'm taught from childhood up. First off, I'm seeing it on the news all the time, and I'm hearing demonizing the other side, and it was just always, in my mind, I'm like, oh, those other people are evil. Like, they're just rotten to the core, and like, I should hate them too, And so grew up with that. Well then, and I always use this as a story, the whole movie set thing that I got invited to, that I got to go experience. I got to do that. And I remember hints of family like, well, be careful, don't be influenced by their beliefs because they're the other side, And I was like, I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with I love this stuff.
Yeah.
We go, and I totally wasn't fully resolved for the Lord at this point at all whatsoever. So I had my whole life conception about who these people are on the other side, who we are on this side, the division. So I go to this thing, and there are all these people. It's a bunch of gay people, just everything, which I'm not used to being around at this point because of where we're at, There were witches there, everybody. But the thing that blew my mind, and this may be offensive, but I don't care, was they had so much like love for one another. Like love, what I had been taught about my whole life. Jesus, These people as flawed or whatever it may be, like that's not what stood out to me.
Yeah.
What stood out to me was like, these people just had acceptance. And then even me, I had people walk up to me like, here, hold the camera. You want to hold it? Do you want to try this? Asking me for opinions on like the set design and stuff. Like, do you want a piece of this? Do you want to
help invest?
You want to help invest in this creative process. And I got to, and that's what registered with me. And it really, really impacted me because I felt like love and acceptance, like the real deal.
Yeah.
From these people I've been taught that were evil, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a paradigm shift for me. And I never fully was like, you know, ingrained or bought into the political thing. I didn't really know details of why people were this way, why they were this way. I was just like, this is good, this is bad. So when I experienced it, I'm like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with all this? Because I'm taught Jesus, God, love on this side, but I don't really feel it. But then I go over here to the enemy side and I feel it. I feel the love, you know, and creativity and stuff. But that was one of my little epiphany moments of like, these people aren't evil.
They're people.
They're people. And yeah, that we're all people. What's the deal?
Yeah.
You know? And anyways.
I think that's so profound because it's like, you can either choose to follow indoctrination from either side, or you can choose to look at people for people and value the person that they are, wholeheartedly value.
Right.
And actually be able to transfer the love.
Yeah.
You know, and realize like we're not against each other.
Yeah.
It's not me versus you anymore.
Right.
Like, we're together.
Yeah.
We're together in this earth. We're together on this planet for such a time as this.
Yeah.
All of us together.
And it wasn't a compromise of evil. Like even some of the stuff that maybe somebody else believes, it's not like I was agreeing with that or saying, you know what, that's fine, let's keep it that way. But true change and transformation starts with that love and acceptance of people.
Yeah.
That's when all those other things will change and fall into place, you know? It's out of that purity and connection and love for other people. So
I think that's the way that anybody, I mean, I think about my own life. Like when I was deep entrenched in a lifestyle that was not true to me.
Yeah.
And I held a lot of beliefs that were not true to who I really am. The only way I came out of it was people choosing to love me.
Yeah.
People choosing not to hold any of my manifestations or my spewing or my lack of ability to communicate.
Right.
Because I just did a lot of angry yelling.
Yeah.
I did a lot of backbiting because I didn't know another way to communicate. Like I didn't think I had space to share my feelings.
Right.
And coming out of a lifestyle where that was very toxic in that.
Yeah.
But it was through people choosing to love. It was like you hold nothing against anybody.
Right.
And that's why I think just even what you're saying is like you can say all of these things or like get on my side.
Yeah.
But there's no substance there.
Right.
Or you go be around people that have substance.
Yeah.
And the substance is what's attractive.
Yeah, and here's the deal too, and I'm not talking crap about my family. It wasn't all my family. It was school. It was everything. It was the culture.
It's the culture of
and it wasn't
East
just,
Texas, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't just politically. It was racially. Like all this stuff I grew up around and in, you know, and I always had questions about it. I'm like, why? Why are we different? But the thing is, what it boils down to, this is the realization, is that those people are not defined by their belief. They're not defined by what they do at all.
If you think about it, that's what the religious system
does.
It convinces you that you are what you do.
Yeah.
That's your identity, is what you do, not who you were created to be.
Right. What you do, not who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All these tribalisms and stuff that are going on, all these divisions.
Yeah.
It's people claiming what they do as an identity.
Yeah.
And uniting people.
Or what you look like.
Right.
Like
claiming that as
identity.
Right.
It's like all of those things until people stand under the understanding that they are the imager of God.
Yeah.
On this earth, a creative, beautiful refraction of his heart on this earth.
Yeah.
That can change things. It will be limited.
Right.
It will be divisive. But because that's not who you are, because you're trying to gain approval by the things that you do or what you look like. Like it's looking at the external instead of looking at the internal or the spirit realm.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what's like highly relatable?
What?
Is that obviously we're not defined by what we look like or our bodies or like anything like that, but we all showed up here on this earth. At some point, we've all been like a baby. Like we all just showed up and we didn't fully know, or maybe we did. We just showed up. And that's something we all have in common.
Yep.
That's what we all have in common. We're all here. We showed up and there's a purpose. There really is a singular purpose.
Totally.
That's what unites us all. That's who we are, where we come from.
Listen, we are all brothers and sisters.
Right.
Every single one of us. Doesn't freaking matter your political beliefs or how much you hate the system or like rebel against the system or whatever that crap is. We are all deeply connected. Deeply connected brothers and sisters. The only difference is you have people that have chosen to accept the reality of what Jesus paid for, and then those that haven't.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're divided. That doesn't mean that we're separate from each other.
Right.
That just means that.
Yeah. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
Of separation.
Mm-hmm. But people, I was going to go on a rabbit trail to try and explain that, but
you can.
I think most people get what I'm saying.
Yeah. If you want to, you can, though.
Well, I was just going to say, like on those that have chosen not to accept that reality, like they kind of get where they're going. They don't actually get to partake of the goodness of what walking in unity looks like.
Yeah.
So if you choose darkness and you choose isolation or you choose to hold on to your political system and like you get where you're going.
Right.
And you will stay feeling divided. You will stay feeling isolated. You will, you'll never feel whole.
Yeah.
You'll never get to walk in the fullness of what God actually created you to be.
Yeah. Right.
So that's where I was going with that is like, but all you have to do is accept the reality of what he paid for.
Yeah.
And that you are 100% in.
Yeah.
Like grafted in and you get to you will partake of the unity of the brethren.
Yeah.
If that is your heart.
Right. Yeah. And that's where all the wholeness and all the resolutions and everything comes into play.
Yeah.
The peace and the rest. It comes from that. Not, not standing on the side of the road with signs saying honk if you like pizza or something.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to talk about that for half a second.
Okay. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the other day I was driving and I was talking to you on the phone.
Yeah.
I was actually talking about, oh man, I wanted to go into Stranger Things.
Let's go.
Okay. But we were talking about Stranger Things the other movie that you had just watched.
Oh yeah. Black Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Well, you were telling me about it and I'm sitting there, we're talking about all demonic things.
Yeah.
And I see this lady and it breaks my heart. I'm not going to lie. She is bawling, holding a sign. About how if this ruling stripped her of her rights as a woman.
Okay.
And I mean, bawling. I mean, she's an older lady. And I just remember thinking, like, I had so much compassion for her.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, there's so much demonic covering over people's eyes.
Yeah.
To make them feel like something just shifted for them.
Yeah.
This thing far, far, far away just affected them. You know what I mean? Like, and it was robbing her.
Right.
It was robbing her of actually being able to have joy of just period.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It was like this catapulting, like, and you could tell she was sincere.
Right.
And so I wasn't like hating on her.
No.
I was just like,
she feels that. Yeah.
She definitely feels that. That looked like real pain.
Yeah.
And all I could think was like, that's what the enemy seeks to do. That is what the demonic seeks to do.
Yeah.
Catapult people into traumatizing pain.
Right.
And it broke me, honestly. But, so talking about Stranger Things.
And breaking people. Oh, we're 2 episodes in.
Oh, goodness. No, we were talking about Stranger Things that I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like full-blown demonic.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But how much the darkness causes people to be disjointed because of places of pain.
Yeah. And that's what it is with these people.
Mm-hmm.
It's specific to something they have done or a pain point.
Yeah, it's a pain point.
And it's almost like that. I don't know what happens, but it's almost like that's what allows it to flow and to show up.
Yeah. And it's, I thought it was interesting. So if y'all have seen Stranger Things and you like somewhat scary things, and by that I mean horror, but there's a demonic creature named Vecna.
Yeah.
And he has access. I mean, he's full-blown demonic, but he has access to people who have pain. And he does some things that are not great.
Yeah.
He robs them of their sight. And he causes their bodies to become disjointed, and then he allows life to no longer be in this body.
Pretty gruesome manner.
It is pretty gruesome. But if you think about it, that's actually what the whole thing of darkness tries to do to people.
Yeah.
It robs you of your sight. It causes you to be disjointed, and it will suck the life out of you.
Yeah. Right.
And
that's what I love about the show so far, though.
It's pretty good.
Well, just the kind of, there's the reality of it.
I think the new one comes out tonight.
Oh, does it? We got to catch up.
You should probably binge it.
Yeah, I want to. I love that. I love that song is so popular.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like an old song. About time we're having some taste in music. Gosh. But that's what's so cool about it. And this is what we were talking about earlier. This is another reason I like horror movies, especially ones that turn out the specific way. Is like, that is how darkness operates. And the buildup of these movies, a lot of them, is like this helplessness, this feeling of helplessness and hopelessness, and this enemy's just having his way with everybody. But the payoff to it is always what's worth it to me. And I don't know spoilers. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm only 2 episodes in, but this is what has to happen either in this season or the next one. This thing's going to go on a, rampage, cause a lot of destruction and pain. But then ultimately humanity or whoever it is, 11, I don't know, is going to full force stand up.
Oh, it does it even. They did an excellent job with it.
They did?
Oh, they did an excellent. They did it twice.
Yeah.
They did it twice.
Okay.
It's fascinating.
Okay, I'll watch it.
But
they're going to stand up and confront this thing and be like, no, we're not doing this. But that's why I like scary movies. That's why certain ones really align with me. But when people are ingrained in something like that,
yeah,
and then that happens, the feeling of that redemption and of that authority, that gives people, it's like a tangible bite of that. People get to experience what that feels like when you do that, when you build it up and it's so dark and demonic, but then the payoff, it's like, oh, that's it. And it's because it aligns with who we are as people.
Totally.
In the world. That's why it's so successful.
Yeah.
Oh, I freaking love that stuff.
It's so true though. The thing I loved about Stranger Things is because there is so much parallel.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about, I need a good parallel.
Yeah.
That's going to actually take me back to the Lord. Not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked at stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this thing actually seeks to isolate you.
Mm-hmm.
It seeks to get you feeling alone.
Yeah.
And then it like reminds you of your trauma.
Yeah.
Reminds you of the pain. Reminds you of the thing that you did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens in this thing. And it's like this repetition. And then once you take the bait of that, like all these things I've done wrong, he has access.
Yeah.
And I can see that in a lot of people's lives. I've seen it in my own life.
Yeah.
When you give space to the enemy to let him reaffirm all the things that you did wrong and you stay on this negative cycle, or you just ignore them, there's access there.
Yeah.
There's access to an altered perspective that robs your sight.
Right.
And that's why I think it's so important. Like, look at all the pain.
Yeah.
Look at all the things that may be coming up or, character defects.
Yeah. Right.
Because those are not even you.
Right.
Like I had a dream about me last night. I won't go into the whole thing because this will be a fun one.
Yeah.
But it showed a way that I communicate and I didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, like, when I feel backed into a corner, this is actually how I communicate. And a lot of it was with Zach.
Yeah.
But I communicate in this way that actually pins us against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a clue until I had this dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've been doing that. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I could feel it was off, but I didn't know where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt so releasing when I gave it to the Lord today.
Yeah.
It feels better.
That's cool.
It feels right. And I think that's where the ultimate, it's connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, any access point or the enemy, like, he cannot stand under connection.
Yeah.
He cannot stand in the face of choosing to look at each other face to face.
Yeah.
Choosing to look at the Lord face to face. And you can try and go fix a bunch of things with people, but it won't work unless you've taken it to the Lord and let him fill that spot.
Right.
Because then the connection is much easier with people. But anyways, you'll see that in Stranger Things.
Yeah. I had an idea.
Okay, go.
Well, Stranger Things, one little rabbit trail, but it's leading somewhere. Stranger Things reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street.
I've never seen that.
You probably won't like it. Okay. It's Freddy Krueger. And
Nope.
I think the actor that plays him is in Stranger Things.
Really?
If there's an old man in there, he's really old now, then it's him. Robert Englund is his name. Anyways, Nightmare on Elm Street is about this guy that he kills people. He kills kids in their sleep.
Excellent.
But what gives him his power is belief. If they hear stories about him and believe in him, that's how he shows up.
He does play.
Is he? Okay, don't tell me who it is because I don't know. But I knew there was a rumor he was in it. But anyways, in the dream, he shows up when you believe in him. At the end of the first movie, this girl's like, "Oh, I'm going to take control of this." It's like, I'm not giving you this power. And she wins. And then it was successful, so they made like 10 sequels, which were so cheesy. But there's one of them where these kids take control of their dreams and like, "Oh no, I'm a superhero." And they like fight him and they defeat him. But anyways, all of this, we should find movies and shows and stuff when they come up when we watch them, and we should just go into like the spiritual backdrop of the movies and some of the stories, and like, because it all comes from somewhere.
Oh yeah.
That would be fun.
It's my favorite thing.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Because I love looking at things through a spiritual backdrop.
Have you ever seen Hook before?
No.
Holy crap. I went back. It was one of my favorites as a kid. I went and watched it recently. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's incredible.
I had 2 people tell me that I need to see Hook in the last week.
Was it me both times?
No.
Okay. 2
different people, and now you. That's the third one.
We need to all watch it.
Okay.
We don't have to do the big episode. You just need to see it.
Okay.
Incredible movie.
I'm going to be a little jumpy, aren't I?
No, it's not. It's not like that.
I'll probably be a little jumpy.
It's like,
I get jumpy at so many things.
Yeah, it's a really lighthearted adventure movie. It's good. It's incredible.
I know, but Hook was a little scary.
I mean, kind of, but...
As my childhood.
Oh, really?
It was definitely scary.
Really? Captain Hook?
Yes. I have not watched all of Peter Pan because of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should probably watch Peter Pan first.
This is probably the scariest iteration of him.
Oh. Well, I'm a grown adult now, so...
Rated PG.
I'll probably be scared. I'm just kidding.
Anyways.
No, that was the thing about Stranger Things, is I would close my eyes for most of it, if we're going to be totally honest.
Yeah.
And Zach would describe to me what was happening. And then after the scary jumpy parts, I then would open my eyes.
You're safe now. Yeah. That's funny.
So I could see what it was, but I didn't have to experience the rush of adrenaline.
Yeah. The moment of it.
Yeah.
Right.
He was funny though.
Yeah.
He's a really good descriptor, so.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
That's funny. You won't have to do that in Hook.
Watch, I'm going to come back and be like, yo, so Zach had to explain the whole thing
He had to
me.
explain, yeah. Gosh.
Just kidding.
Well, what are you thinking? I think that was good. We went into the political stuff.
I wasn't expecting that.
We went all in. But, that's one of those boxes again. It's something we got to look at, if it comes up. There's something to look at.
Yeah.
It's such a deal. It's got people.
It's got like mad hooks in people.
It does. And I want to see those hooks removed. I want to see people off of those things, because I want to see people. Because whenever this stuff comes up, you're not talking to that person. You're talking to
an
one
ideal.
idea or another. Puppets. People are puppets for that,
Yeah.
I want to talk to people.
And it's like, I want you to come to my side.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you if you'll come to my side.
Yeah.
It's like, man, just choose connection.
Uh-huh.
And if you can't connect on that space, maybe it's not time to actually talk about it.
Right.
Maybe there's like time to actually let that go.
Yeah.
And if you feel the compulsion that I've got to talk about this, to wrestle it, you should look at it.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why am I feeling this compulsion?
Yeah.
To get on Instagram and share all of my feelings with a bunch of people that actually are not safe for me to share things with.
Right. Yeah, they're going to pick it apart. And
they're either going to pick it apart or they're going to cheer cheer you on.
Right. Are you doing it for acceptance?
Yeah. Are you just going to try and get a dopamine hit?
Uh-huh.
Like, ooh, I feel good because I had 400,000 likes on my...
I should post something.
Yeah.
Just to get some shares.
That'd be funny. But I think it's just important. Like, I think a part of following the ancient path is to throw everything on the table, to pull everything in your house, give him access to.
Yep.
That's where the good way is.
It is.
And you feel so much lighter when you bring these things out.
Yep.
When you acknowledge the perceptions that you carry and the filters that you've held on to.
Yeah.
And there's no shame if you've been feeling these or that you took the bait or, I mean, I have. I took the bait and I realized I saw the fruit of it and I was like, yikes, that fruit didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And you can see like what steals my peace.
Right.
What causes me to actually step away from the simplicity of devotion to Christ.
Right.
And whatever you can look at that, you can surrender that.
Yeah. Well, and another thing is there are practical things you can do. Like unplug from it.
Yeah.
Unplug from all the noise.
Yeah.
TV, turn the TV off, turn the news off.
Totally.
Get quiet.
I think one of the things, I'm going to go on a small tangent. All right. I have had well-intentioned people that send me a lot of prophetic words that are now coming out, and they are all political. All these prophetic words are not just like about the president, but like what God's doing and how God's bringing justice and God is destroying the people that are in office and like all these things.
Yeah.
And the fruit of it is, you can tell everything by the fruit.
Yeah.
But it feels yucky. It feels like that's not the Lord that I know.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't pin himself against people.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've gone into that, but
he doesn't, yeah.
And I think that especially in prophecy, we can get this thing to be like, well, they said that God told them. So if God told them, then it's absolute truth.
Yeah.
But there's also that scripture that says, test the spirits. You should test it. You should weigh it.
Yeah.
And not just because if it comes to pass or not.
Right.
Test and see how it feels.
Yeah.
Does it feel like love?
Yeah.
Does it feel like joy?
Right.
Does it produce joy in your life? Does it produce the peace of God?
Life. Yeah.
I mean, you should weigh how you feel when you're listening to these things.
Right.
I think that's what you should do with anything.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What do I feel as I'm partaking of this news, as I'm looking through this portal that we call a phone?
Yeah.
What feelings does it produce? And whatever that is,
Right.
you can weigh it and let it go, or you can lean into it and, keep doing the same thing. But
right. Good.
the fruit's important. Okay, so the very last thing, unless you had something else.
No, I think I was about to say what you're about to say.
So our next episode, we are we're going to start going into dreams and practical ways to interpret dreams, and then even how to apply the very dreams that you do have. Because I think that even that's important.
Yeah.
Not only just getting the revelation, but knowing how to interpret and then knowing how to apply.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody is growing in interpretation. I'll say that.
Right.
I think that as everybody continues to grow, you get sharper and sharper with interpretation as you practice.
Yeah.
And so just because you've interpreted something in one way, you can go back, 2 years later and re-see it.
Yeah.
And it helps sharpen even your interpretation and even how to apply these things.
Right.
So
we are going to
Yeah.
pull a couple of ours out,
Mm-hmm.
some dreams, and I guess some of the practical application that we've applied to our lives and share those. And then if anybody
has a dream that you've had that you're like, man, I just don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would want help kind of navigating this.
Or even if it's crazy, like this means nothing, this is weird.
Yep. Those are probably the best ones.
Right.
You can either private message us on Facebook, private message us on Instagram, or you can email us at theancientwaypodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. And you can remain anonymous.
Absolutely.
If you would like. We're not going to
we will not blast you.
No.
Because that's not what this is about. We want to help create more tools for people.
Right.
Because I don't think that everybody should always just throw your dreams out to be interpreted by everybody.
Right.
I think that you should gain the tools and gain the understanding to do it yourself.
That's why we're doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose. If you do have anything,
share it. Because we're going to share ours, a couple of them.
Yeah.
But it is all for equipping people.
It is.
Good. That's exciting.
I'm pretty pumped about that episode.
I am too.
So get it to us within the next week or two.
Yeah.
Because we would like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Our most offensive episode yet. I'm sure. That's okay.
We're getting there, man.
We are getting there. But it's good to talk about everything.
It's true.
No stone unturned.
It's important.
It is.
All right. See you next time.